Struggling to draw accurately even with a reference? Not knowing where to start? Wanting to know what to focus on? Well, hello my fellow fishes. In this video, we will be learning how an artist thinks when drawing. After you understand these concepts that most beginners miss the mark on, you will be able to draw literally anything. Let's get to it. When we draw something, we are imitating it, but this is where most art babies miss the mark. They skip crucial steps and try to draw the subject by focusing on the details right away. But this is not the most effective method. The best way of drawing the subject accurately is to first simplify it. You've vaguely heard it hundreds of times before, but trust me, we're gonna take it further in this video so you know why and how to use it correctly. Alright, pull up a reference. It could be from anywhere. The first part is always gonna be the sketch. The job of the sketch is to set a rough foundation for the details. The first thing you do, look at the subject and simplify it. Deconstruct it. Destroy it of all details and features. Take away almost everything until you're just left with basic shapes, something easily recognizable. This is your foundation, the bare bones of everything. Newcomers will try to tackle imitation by immediately trying to draw the subject without the crucial foundations. But we as artists like to simplify and deconstruct the subject and then build it back up from the foundation, in order of importance. This is why every art tutorial focuses on drawing shapes so much, because it is the absolute foundation of every art piece. And once you can arrange these shapes into their right form and perspective, drawing the subjects become a lot more straightforward than you think, as you can then connect the other art fundamentals onto your strong foundation. The next concept, looking at the bigger picture. These next concepts applies to all parts of the art, the sketching and the rendering. It means that you don't get fixated on the small details too much. Think in terms of how it looks as a whole. Most small details won't go noticed. Look at these illustrations. They look great and complete, even though when you zoom in, you see that the artist didn't refine the small details that much. We can choose to spend hours, yes, hours of our time, doing something that isn't even gonna go noticed. Or we could spend that onto improving other parts of the art that will get noticed. Look here, he could have spent more time fixing these parts, but really it's no big deal when we zoom out. On the flip side, sometimes the final rendered art piece looks off because the artist missed the part where he zooms out and realizes his super detailed eyes are light years apart. This then leads us to the next part. Finally, let's talk about spotting and fixing problems, which if you really think about it, is the real answer to how to get better at art. Sometimes the problem can be super obvious, like dirty chicken scratches in the eyes I shown earlier. You know what the problem is, and you most definitely know how to fix it as well, but really most of the time, the problem is less obvious. Like super hard to figure out if you're not experienced, and then you'll have to know how to fix it too. Problems such as mismatching values, off anatomies, sloppy perspective or posing are hard to spot, and sometimes even harder to fix, but has a significant effect on your final piece. And the ability to spot and fix these are one of the features that separates a beginner and a more experienced artist. But don't get overwhelmed yet. As you gain experience, your ability to spot these will naturally improve without you even noticing. Like a passive boost that increases the more time you spend doing art. And for subscribing to the channel, a bonus tip for spotting problems is to let it rest. Sure, you can keep cooking and cooking, but eventually you gotta let the flour rise before you can make the best possible bread. You'll be surprised of how much easier problems are to spot when you take a break for like 30 minutes. And for proof, just look at your old artworks. At the time, you couldn't spot these problems, but looking back, there's a lot of things that you'll change. Also, side note, please don't take the problems and mistakes too personally or literally. Art is subjective, but there are also some technical stuff involved called the art fundamentals. Most of the time, mistakes aren't creative mistakes, but a technical one, and shows that you can still indeed get better. You now know how an artist thinks during the process of making an art piece. To recap, start an art piece, simplify the subject, and by using the sketch as the foundation, continue adding details, but don't forget to look at the bigger picture and see how it looks as a whole, and don't get fixated on the small stuff too much. And during all of this, try to spot mistakes or inaccuracies and fix them. While there's no direct techniques or tutorial being taught, you now have the ability to diagnose your artworks and see what area could use some improvement, and you can choose yourself what you want to improve at. There's gonna be another video discussing the fundamentals of art. Thank you for watching. Also subscribe if you want to be one of the fishes in our aquarium. I'll see you next video. Click here to watch another one of mine, and I'll see you in the next one.